I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning for Lake Orion Community Schools. Today, I'd like to share with you some of the successes we are having with our remote learning plans. We have 3 teachers from each level and our special education department that will be showing you how they are connecting with students and teaching them during this very unusual time. Thank you.
I've been teaching for 15 years, and I can tell you that the past 2 months have been totally different than any other year that I've ever taught. And I know that many of you have questions in regards to what it's like to be a teacher in our district right now, and I'm hoping that I can shed a little light on that through the eyes of a 3rd grade teacher. We spend a lot of time communicating with parents via email. They send questions. They also touch base with us on what their students are up to. They'll submit work through email, as well as students will send letters to us just to keep that connection and kind of keep us posted on what they're up to. We also have Facebook pages and Weebly sites that have started throughout the elementary schools. I send a weekly video to touch base with my students, as well as have a Zoom meeting where our students can kind of come together and see each other and share out what's been going on in their lives. And that really helps them to kind of feel that connection with their classmates, with me, and of course with our school. Another important thing that happens during the week is planning for our weekly at-home learning activities. I have to tell you that is a huge collaboration between not only grade levels, but across the district, making sure that the learning is meaningful, that it's authentic, and that it is accessible to all students. We have that opportunity in elementary school to do quite a little bit of review with our students. So you'll notice even this week, for example, we were working on character traits, and this was a concept that we've already presented to our 3rd graders. So it was a wonderful way for us to kind of revisit that in a way that was meaningful for students. We started with anchor charts that they could just click on and review some of the words and vocabulary that they had seen earlier in this year. Then we had a kind of a little practice activity where they could put that knowledge and that prior knowledge into action. And then our last piece was that application piece where they really fine-tune their knowledge about character traits and were able to really build that solid foundation. It's so important for us that kids are learning and we want them growing, but we also want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. I know that this is a difficult time for all families and school districts, but as a parent in the district, as well as a teacher, I get to see both sides of those at-home learning plans, and I'm very happy with how we've approached them and the learning that is happening. I hope everyone stays healthy, they stay safe, and I hope that we'll be back together real soon. Thank you so much.
Wow, this has really been a change. From everybody that I've talked with, it's really been the underlying theme being flexibility, because this is uncharted waters for everybody, and being able to be flexible is the biggest proponent for success for both the kids, the parents, the adults, everybody. For science, we've been trying to think outside of the box and come up with activities that are non-traditional but still expose the kids to the science that they need to be exposed to. At the middle level, not only is curriculum very important, but we're dealing with kids that are breaking away from their elementary lives, and they're breaking ties with their parents and learning to know who they are and what their likes are, their dislikes are. So social emotional support has been another important piece to make sure that we try and highlight as well. And so our team, my core team in 8th grade, we've set up social lunches with the kids where they can pop in and say hi. They typically have a theme with them as well, where it might be dress like a Hawaiian or favorite pet day or bring your best joke and share it, but very socially connected, not curriculum based. On the other side, each of us have office hours throughout the week that we can that kids can come in and ask questions specific to your core content, It has really been an evolving process, a changing each week. It tweaks and it is a little different. But it's really been a beneficial process. Seeing this as a teacher and as a parent, I am so thankful that our district took the approach that it did, because it really seems to be a blend of just enough. And those kids that want more, we have the Padlet available to them. And those kids that may be struggling, we have Zoom meetings and emails, multiple emails and groups and teams that can also be beneficial for them. But on the parent side, I've seen it is a great blend, because we've got a huge swath of technological availability that we need to be understanding for. There's houses that have one device for mom, dad, and 2 or 3 or 4 kids, and it's really hard to get online. And so we've done a really direct job at minimizing the amount of online proponent, but still giving them activities that are engaging and kind of outside of the box.
This spring has brought monumental change to education and has challenged us in many ways. However, I've seen how well my colleagues and our students have adapted, showcasing the greatness that Lake Orion has to offer. While the level of enthusiasm and engagement online can never be a match to in-person learning, with the help of our administrators and counselors, we're doing our best to reach out to students and parents and encourage students to make the most of this situation. Through actively participating in these remote lessons, my students can still demonstrate proficiency in content and improve upon their current grades. We are grateful for any sort of normalcy this brings, as connecting with students, albeit in a different setting, is still what gives us purpose in these trying times. In my own classes, I've been using Microsoft Teams to connect with students. It provides the benefit of being fully integrated with Microsoft Office tools. Just by posting a new assignment, quiz, or scheduling a video call, students can receive an email notification right through their Outlook email. And it can communicate with Microsoft Forms for another way for students to complete and submit assignments and quizzes. Each week, I screen record myself presenting 1 or 2 short video lessons written out in OneNote class notebook using our HP pen and touchscreen. I encourage students to follow along as they normally would in class, writing on their own, printing the note sheet, or even copying it into their own digital notebook. After watching the week's videos, students complete 1 or 2 practice assignments over these concepts. Sometimes the assignments are digitally on iExcel or Delta Math. Other times they're PDF assignments that can then be entered into Microsoft Forms or uploaded as pictures so that I can provide more specific feedback through the Teams platform. Several times throughout the week, I'm available on Microsoft Teams video chats to further answer students' questions. This is also often done through screen sharing and writing on the HP touchscreen. Later in the week, I'll often send out a follow-up quiz just to check in on everyone's understanding. For each specific class, the math teachers and I are working together as a team to leverage our strengths and ensure consistency, but also identify the most critical content that we're able to present remotely. In some respects, this time has allowed an opportunity for increased collaboration and discussion with colleagues. It has personally made me more appreciative of the expertise of our district and of the crucial in-person relationships we build in Lake Orion Schools.
We started with some Zoom meetings, and the first Zoom meeting we just met and chatted and tried to figure out exactly, teach the students some of the tools and what to do, and they got to share. I decided to go with a small group format similar to what we do with the classes, the LRC classes in school, and they were really excited about that, to see their friends and to work in a group they were familiar with. After that initial Zoom meeting, we moved right into working on some things with their goals and objectives. And so if you look at the first slide, that's an example of a math lesson we did, an early L math lesson. The kids were learning to use stamps and write their numbers. They're really quickly adapting to how to use the Zoom things, such as the tools, the writing, the stamps, the emojis, thumbs up, the clapping. They like those. And then the next slide is of early L reading lesson where they were able to read magic-y words. We worked on those together. And then the next slide is of one where we did the math lesson for third graders. And then the final one, really important to try to engage and help the kids have a little fun. We played the categories game, which they really enjoyed. Some of the other things that I've been able to do with the Zoom platform is to hold IEP meetings. And that went really well. We were able to have the whole team together and complete our IEP. And we also have been working on accommodations for the general education work that is going home with students. We have been looking at those assignments, and then according to the student's IEP, we've been able to offer suggestions for accommodations to both parents and gen ed teachers and assist in that way. This has definitely been a challenging time, but we were able to kind of figure some things out. We've also added a second Zoom class, just trying to offer to parents options. We understand that everybody's situation is unique, depending on what kind of devices you have available at home, if you have to share devices, if parents are trying to work from home. So I did offer a second class and had many students take me up on that, and we've been doing that and working through some of the lessons, and it's just so nice to see everyone's face, the faces of the students when we do the Zoom classes. Their smiles really make my day.